The same people who have been protesting and screaming, "My body, my choice," when it comes to the COVID vaccine, are now saying I don't have any control over my own body. Republicans won't require a 12-year-old girl to wear a mask in school that may save her life and the lives of other children, but they will force her to keep a baby regardless of how she got pregnant, including rape and incest. I am a woman, and I have a constitutional right to make decisions for my own body.
High production values, smart writing, professional voiceover. But that video wasn't produced by the DNC or even a well-funded political campaign. This man, Don Winslow, a best-selling novelist, is responsible for a series of viral political shorts. He writes them with his agent, Avatar screenwriter Shane Salerno. The shorts range in subject from abortion rights to Senator Joe Manchin's hypocrisy, but mostly focus on the misdeeds of former President Donald Trump. They've racked up over 200 million views on social media with the help of stars like Bruce Springsteen and Jeff Daniels. How did this unlikely duo start this self-funded political media messaging machine? Well, Salerno, a self-proclaimed cable news junkie, said he was inspired after seeing some rough political shorts on TV. He told Deadline, "I thought there could be a different approach, more cinematic, more focused on storytelling, stronger use of music and voiceover." Don adds, "I was compelled to do this because of the horrors that Trump has unleashed on this country. And I think people responded to that anger because it's righteous anger. We're on the right side of this war." Well, clearly the partnership was a fortuitous one. The pair's scathing political commentary has been the toast of Twitter ever since. And it's not hard to see why.
47% of white women voted for Donald Trump. 47% to 45% for Hillary Clinton. To the 47%, I would like to ask, how did Donald Trump win your vote? Was it this?
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Or maybe it was how he talked about his own daughter that won your vote.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Throughout his life, Donald Trump has used his power to attack, harass, and humiliate women. You have the power to stop it all. Stop Trump's abuse of women. Vote for Joe Biden.
Yes, Don Winslow and Shane Salerno certainly know how to pack a punch. Joining me now to talk about all of this, New York Times best-selling author Don Winslow. His book, City on Fire, is available now, and he's already written 2 sequels. He announced his retirement, though, from writing and will shift his focus full-time to political messaging. Don, thanks so much for coming on the show. Congratulations on the new book. You seem to have found the formula for viral success, more so than many Democratic lawmakers and lobby groups. What are they missing when it comes to social media messaging?
Well, I think you said it earlier. I think we've used our experience, myself as a novelist, Shane as a filmmaker and a screenwriter, to tell stories that are visually compelling, that use plain, simple, and tough language, and that tell stories. And I think it's had its effect.
And you have someone like a Donald Trump, who himself had a highly effective social media presence before he was banned from Twitter and Facebook. Republicans like Ted Cruz, Matt Gaetz frequently go viral on the right. Fox News, whatever you think of them, they are the masters when it comes to storytelling, bad storytelling, dishonest storytelling, but storytelling. Why do you think conservatives have been able to more successfully harness the power of social media, of storytelling, of messaging than liberals?
Well, I think liberals sometimes want to be too nice. We keep bringing spoons to a knife fight. We don't want to go into the alley. I'm perfectly willing, and Shane's perfectly willing to go into the alley. I put out a tweet a few weeks ago that said, "When they go low, I'll be there waiting."
Yes. Well, but that Michelle Obama line was great in the moment, but in hindsight, it didn't really help the Democrats. I just interviewed former Democratic Senator Doug Jones earlier in the show, who said, let other people attack the Republicans for their record when it comes to pedophiles and groomers and others. And isn't that the job of one of the 2 main political parties? Maybe that's just me. You are highly critical of the Go on, Don.
It's not just you. It should be the job. These people are bullies. They feel perfectly free to say anything, make anything up. The best defense is a counterattack. So we need to defend, but simultaneously counterattack. Metaphorically speaking, a short, sharp punch in the nose does wonders.
I mean, it's for me, it's politics 101 that the best form of defense is offense. Let me ask you this: you are highly critical of the January 6th committee on Twitter. You've written that the hearings will be a disaster. You think you don't have faith that they'll hold the culprits accountable, the ringleaders. And I share your disappointment in the committee's slow progress and in general, Democratic Party fecklessness when it comes to holding Republicans to account. But what do you say to those who think it's counterproductive to be too fatalistic at this point?
Oh, I don't think I'm fatalistic. Listen, I understand those people's thinking, but we have to look at the facts. The clock is running out. The clock will run out to the midterm elections. And if history, if the past is prologue, the Republicans win the majority. I hope not. I think we still need to fight it and try to win it. But look at what the committee hasn't done. It took them 6 months to get started. I think after John Kennedy was assassinated, the Warren Commission took a week. After Pearl Harbor, it was 2 or 3 weeks. We had a violent insurrection. We tend to forget this. Let me say it very clearly. An armed attempt to overthrow the democratically elected government of the United States. And we're issuing what? Invitations instead of subpoenas?
Indeed, well said. And I would ask you this. Do you wonder what happened to liberals during the last few years, where a lot of liberals in this country put a lot of faith in the Mueller inquiry, and that didn't happen, in the impeachment inquiries, that didn't lead anywhere, and now the 1-6 committee? I do worry that we've been here before. There is that worry.
I worry about that too. I think there's fatigue out there. I think there's fatigue because of the precedents that you just mentioned. I think, of course, there's fatigue because of COVID. There's fatigue because of the endless chaos that was the Trump administration and the lies. The problem with fatigue, though, is we have to wake up before it's too late. We can't just sleep through this next election. We can't sleep through this committee not being aggressive or assertive enough. Because if we're still asleep, we're going to lose our country.
Yes, indeed. Tell me about this digital army that you're planning on leading. You want to quit writing and focus 100% of your time on the kind of videos we saw earlier. What's the plan? Where do you go next with it?
Well, I think we're at an existential point in American democracy. So we are out recruiting an army, and we are going to use that army as among other things, as a rapid response team that when these lies and attacks come in, we'll be ready to instantly respond to them and counterattack. We're going to use this army to help get out the vote, to help donate to the candidates that share our values, and to keep fighting the battle where it is, which is on social media.
Don, can I ask, have any Democratic Party officials or lawmakers reached out to you, seen your stuff, asked for input or advice?
We've gotten a response from candidates who have said, frankly, this is a bit immodest, but your ads are better than our ads. So we've heard from them in that regard. We insist on maintaining our independence.
Fair enough. I don't blame you for that, especially given how the Democratic Party has its own issues when it comes to having a unified, consistent message. Let me ask you this question, a broader question. Your writing career, you often point out, took off when you were in your mid-50s. What would you say to someone who thinks it's too late to change careers or try something new, who feels beaten down by rejected commissions or proposals or ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. What I say to those people is do not give up. I was a overnight success at age 55. I was 7 published books into my career before I could quit my day job. So it's not too late. And I say to them, keep pushing, keep at it. And I also say to them, look, if you do that, if you're committed to writing and you struggle with it on a regular basis, you are a writer, and don't let anyone ever take that away from you.
One last question for you, Don. Looking forward, you said we're at an existential moment. We're in danger of losing our country. At a time like this, as you say, people can get fatigued. How do you stay hopeful? How do you stay optimistic about the future? How do you stop just going and lying under the duvet and not getting up in the morning and making those videos and doing those tweets?
Sure. I get down like everybody else. I think a lot of us do. But let's remember a couple of things. One, we did win the last election. Two, if everybody votes and everyone's vote gets counted, we win again. And three, what does despair do for us? It doesn't do anything for us. We can't just lie down, on the sofa, curl into a ball, and let people that I consider to be neo-fascists take over our country. And so I think it's always necessary just to keep putting one foot after the other, left, right, no matter how we feel about it, and always do the next necessary thing.